Hey everybody. Hey, my name is Anthony Moreland and we're doing this Saturday morning training. Well, it's morning here, but in some parts of the world, it's not morning. And you may be watching this recording. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in for a treat today. We have the amazing Cynthia Blackwell coming on this morning, and she is going to talk about the 3 R's for exclusive success, you guys. And I hope you have your pen and paper ready. I'm not going to take much time at all. I want to pass it on over to this amazing woman and let her share this amazing, amazing information that she has to share with us this morning. I'm so ready. I got my pen and paper ready, and I will be taking notes. Cynthia, I'm going to allow you to take over now, and it's all yours, my friend.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. Thank you for making time and joining us this morning. It is fantastic to be with you. I'm going to show you my cup. It says, "Hello, Saturday. I love you." Now, I'm also going to ask you, as we spend some time together, that you use the chat and you put comments in chat. I'm also at different points going to encourage you to unmute and make a statement, or on camera, give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts, but very importantly, use the chat. If you have questions, write them down to the side or put them in chat in the Q&A. So then that way I'm going to make sure that I leave a few moments at the end. So then that way I can address any specific questions that you might have, or even you can share a comment. Okay. Now with that, this morning we're talking about the 3 R's. And if you have joined me for other Saturday mornings, I did one in January, February, March, and now in April. Okay. And so I'm going to be tying in all of the workshops and sessions and sharing that I've done to land the plane for this one. Okay. Now, if that makes sense, give me some thumbs up. I see all your beautiful faces and I love it. I cannot imagine doing something more fun or funner on a Saturday morning than hanging out with you. Okay, now remember, again, we're talking about the 3 R's this morning: retail, recruit, and retain. So what does that mean? That means we're ready for some explosive success and we deal with real life every day. So as I'm sharing stuff with you, I'm going to be talking probably about 85 to 90% of what I share with you is going to be focused on our professional life or on business, whether it's your side hustle, so to speak, of Partner Co. and the drops and products, as well as your day job, so to speak, or if Partner Co. and what you're doing with Partner Co. is your full-time gig, then fantastic. Again, 85 to 90% is going to be focused on business and professional. However, I will be sprinkling in and talking about how to balance and have that as a part of our whole life, okay? Because life is full of laundry, dishes, grocery shopping, bills, and, kids and all that other stuff, right? Now, as we spend time together, I'm going to ask you to be intentional, choose to engage, be willing to learn, in the power of one idea. And this is why I'm going to encourage you to use the chat. And then very importantly, when you hang up this call, go share with 3 people 3 things that resonated for you, 3 things that you wrote down. Take it from your brain down your arm and because when we do that, studies show that we remember it and will actually apply it. So if you've spent time with me before, you've heard me say this: within 24 hours to 48 hours, you will forget up to 50%. That's half of what I talk about this morning, half of what resonates for you. By 1 week from today, by next Saturday morning, you will have forgotten 100%. Okay. And this is why it's so important to go talk to 3 people about the 3 things that resonated for you, the magical power of 3. And then very importantly, writing down things that resonate for you. Okay. And use the chat. Now, my goal as we spend time together every single time is to remind you of things that you already know, give you something new to think about, but really both. Now, I'm bringing it up in the beginning because at the end, I'm going to ask you to use chat or unmic and share. What did I give you? reminder? Did I give you something new? Really, what I want to do is both. And words of affirmation is my primary love language. I'm sharing that up front, which also, by the way, side note, if you know your love language or your language of appreciation, be free in sharing that with others so that they don't have to play this assume game, the assumption game, or the guessing game, okay? Because we all want to be loved and feel appreciated. Now, let's reflect and review what we've talked about as we've spent time together, okay? The one of the initial sessions, or each one of the sessions, we've talked about me, myself, and I, and the importance of self-awareness. We've also talked about habits and beliefs, specifically related around money and our income producing activities or actions that we take. Our beliefs around driving revenue, our beliefs around success, our beliefs around, well, here's a good one. I'm not really a salesperson. I've never really done sales. I don't know if I can. Listen, yes, you can. If you know how to build a relationship, if you know how to influence action with someone else or motivate another person, yes, you can. Okay. All right. Now, top 3 categories. We've also touched on multiple times all throughout the times we've spent together about what your 3 daily activities or your top 3 categories of focus every single day. Have y'all been doing some of this? Give me some thumbs up. I see your faces. Give me some thumbs up. Because I'll call on you. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Listen, I'm feeding you with a fire hose. You're not going to absorb everything in one session. It's going to, as human beings, it's repetition of hearing it. It's repetition of doing it. That's how we create a habit. But if we believe in what we're doing, our beliefs feed our habits and actions. So then that way we turn those habits into keystone habits. A keystone habit, the best example is when you drive home from work from the office or you drive home from the grocery store, you take the same route without thinking. Okay, that's a keystone habit. And that's my goal as I continue to spend time with you, is to help you create keystone habits from positive habits that you're doing. So for example, your IPA every single day, your income producing activity that you naturally do every single day. Okay. Now, something else that we've talked about and I've harped on is your morning routine, having that winning morning routine, feeding your faith, feeding your mindset, and then preparing your body for the stress that's coming at you. And then also the happy stuff, right? We got to be in good shape so we can do the happy dance when we're successful. Second, as you can see, again, focusing on our income producing activities. What are your top 3 categories for the day? And then third is accountability, surrounding yourself and building relationships with people, with others that are going to hold you accountable, but with love. Okay, with love. And then very importantly, being intentional and strategic about who am I? What are my motivators? What are my stressors? What are those self-sabotage actions or things that we do? We need to identify people that have strength, that can support me. In other words, if my self-sabotage, one of my characteristics is to procrastinate, then I need to surround myself with accountability partners that don't procrastinate, that have strong structure, processes, and procedures in place to complete tasks or projects on time. Okay. That's only going to help me because birds of a feather flock together. As spending time with them, I'm going to create habits that help me to get things done and lessen the procrastination. But by the way, we all procrastinate. We're all, we all do it. Okay. And so it's never really going to go away. But what we can do is we can harness that energy to be successful. Okay. Let's keep moving on. Self-awareness. Notice the picture here. Looking in the mirror is probably the most, in my opinion, and from my experience, and by the way, experiences teach, words and theory, give us idea, give us some foundational knowledge. but experiences teach. Now, again, back to self-awareness. What I have learned in my 57.4 years is that looking in the mirror and evaluating ourselves can be painful. It's uncomfortable. What I'm going to challenge you to think about and look at it differently, or modify your thinking and your mindset around it, is this. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because then we continue to grow, we continue to learn, we continue to, mature, not only physically, but emotionally, and then very importantly, psychologically. And we're able to drive results faster. We're able to experience joy. We're able to experience the things that we really want to in life, because we're drawing them to us intentionally. Now, if that made sense to you, give me some thumbs up in the chat. Oh, we're up to 29 in the chat. I love you. Okay. Self-awareness is very important. When I know myself, then I can do a better job of connecting with other people, leading them and motivating them. Very importantly, as we're talking about retail, we can close more business. We can sell more drops. Now, do y'all remember how much, depending upon where you're at and how much you sell a box of drops for, do you remember and do you know your number for a box of drops? Put your number in there. Is it $50? Is it $60? Is it $42? What is it? So then that way you know exactly what you're making off of each box of drops. And I'm just using the drops from a retail perspective as the example. But this way, you know, you are aware, if I close or I sell more boxes, how much money you make. Okay, because you should always know your number. Now, as a part of that in self-awareness, it's important for us to know who we are. Now, remember the two questions. Number one, what's my pace? The two at the top, the D and the I, they're fast-paced. Everything about them, they talk fast, move fast, think fast, make decisions quickly. They don't process information or take an extended amount of time to process, okay? So this is why when you interact with some people or even yourself, you're quick like this, okay? Now, the C's and the S's are more passive, they're thoughtful, and they're moderate paced, okay? They do not make decisions quickly, which means if this is you, you don't make decisions quickly, that's okay. We're all different, but what's important is knowing me first, so then that way I can effectively and efficiently sell to others, okay, teach others. I can then recruit others much quicker, efficiently, and effectively. And then third, I can retain them, lead them, coach them, support them to success. Now, if that made sense to you, give me some thumbs up. Yay. Do y'all have y'all have little ones around you where it's the finger family? Daddy finger, where are you? Okay, well, anyway, so thumbs up on that one. I digress. I'm being silly this morning. Forgive me. Okay, now, habits and beliefs. We've touched on those habits and beliefs. What is a habit? A habit is comprised of three things. We all have habits. What I've challenged you to do is to do an assessment or analysis of your habits, which habits are positive ones that we want to do more of, and which habits are not so positive and they're not driving results for us. So a habit is comprised of three things. Number one, the trigger or the cue. Second, the action that we take, okay? And third, the reward that we receive. Now, again, our morning habits are what are setting us up for success. So I have harped on and continue to harp on the importance of our morning habits and our morning routine, okay? Remember, our beliefs drive our habits. So whatever I believe here, and it starts in the morning, is going to be driving my actions during the day, or putting a break on those actions that I should be taking to drive explosive success for us. It will help us to be successful as we are driving retail sales and then recruiting people onto our team and what those conversations look like. And then very importantly, how am I retaining those relationships and keeping them active and motivated? So again, your morning routine. Show of hands, put your hand up if you've worked on your morning routine. Fantastic. I see Anthony. Miss Flory, have you worked on your morning routine? Patras, have you worked on your morning routine? Okay, I see Marianne's hand. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, looking in the mirror, I know is painful and it's uncomfortable, but sit down and spend 15 minutes with yourself and identify what are the things that I'm doing in the morning that are setting me up for success. Am I feeding myself positive words? Am I stretching and doing a little bit of exercising? Am I looking at and reviewing what my top 3 categories for the day are to set me up for success? Do I have my 9 a.m., 3 p.m. posts scheduled? Okay. And if not, get them scheduled. Okay. Because that's what's going to drive success for you. All right. I'll move on and stop harping, but please, 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 if you get anything out of any time that you spend with me, your morning routine and what your top 3 categories are and self-awareness, who are you, are the 3 top. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Now, my top 3 categories: annual, financials, family, and faith. What are yours? Have you worked on your vision board? Have you completed your vision board? It's already April 6th. If you haven't, it's a great time to get started and put it up in front of you so then that way you can see it. Okay. Now, we also talked about those top 3 categories and what that means. What are they? And then accountability. Let me back up here for just a second. The top 3 categories for me every single day are: number 1, income producing activity or revenue generating activity. So it's any activities that we do and we're focused on that are going to drive sales or drive money for us, drive revenue, drive success for us. Okay. Think of it like this, like a funnel. All of your income producing activities, notice there's more room up here. That should be our top activities. And then next for me are clients and community. For you and Partner Co, it could be my team and community, my team and church, whatever your philanthropic or volunteer actions or activities look like. The smallest group is domestic bliss, doctor's appointment, do laundry. By the way, my dryer broke a few days ago. So you know what? I got a dryer repair guy coming out and also, or girl. And I also bought me one of those pop-up, what do you call it? Clothesline, because I will not be stranded hanging clothes off of chairs. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but domestic bliss, doctor's appointments, laundry, whatever that looks like, because then now we're intentional in all 3 of those categories to drive results. Okay. Now, next, accountability is important. Remember, I touched on that before about surrounding ourselves with the right people, but be intentional and strategic as to who we're choosing. Okay. Now, questions, comments, put them in the Q&A, write them down so we can address them. Y'all know how to get a hold of me. You can email me. We can have another conversation, or we could have a conversation where you'd like to invite me to join your team call at some point. I just got through doing an awesome team call with Jennifer Duke and her team. Okay. Now we're going to jump into retail. Notice I have sell drops. If it's sell drops and you're doing packages like the drops with limu juice or the drops with noni juice or others, excuse me, whatever that looks like, but retail. Okay. Your social media posts, recruit, building your team. How do I move them from retail naturally over here to recruiting them and adding them as onto my team as a brand partner? And then third, how do I retain them? How do I add a subscription onto them and get them to set up subscription, and then also lead them to build a team as well? Okay. And if that makes sense, give me some thumbs up, right? Now, again, I'm going to personalities because it's very important. One, I know me, and then I've created that keystone habit of quickly recognizing someone else's pace and priorities. Remember, people connect in accordance to pace, fast with fast, passive with passive. People make decisions to buy, to join your team, to set up a subscription, to work with you, to follow you in accordance to their priorities. Okay? Now, how did I get to that again? Now, your top 3 categories daily from a recruiting perspective, what are they? Stay focused on your income producing activities, which are number 1, your posts, your daily posts, right? Second would be, in my opinion, should be touching people that are already your customers. Now, who uses boards? Show of hands, who uses boards? Y'all, I love boards. Okay. Now, in boards, you already have a plethora of information coming from your leaders, your upline. Okay. One is, for example, and I know this because I use it myself. I'm a brand partner and I've got an incredible team I'm building. Okay. And motivating, leading, all that fun stuff. So when someone buys drops from me within their first week, and I know they've received the drops, either I've delivered it to them in their hand, or it's popped in the mail and I'm tracking, I know when they receive it. I'm sending them a message. You've received your drop. Before you get the drops, right? Weigh yourself, measure yourself, right? So I'm communicating with them. And then when I know they've received the drops, I'm sending them a message, right? First week, second week message. Okay. So what does your daily activity look like in reference to new revenue, new relationships and attracting people, your social media posts, okay? Or on top of that, you're also determined and intentional about having a conversation with a minimum of 3 people every single day, 3 new people, just to tell about the drops. Now, if you're like me, you have a conversation with people in line at the grocery store to pay. You have a conversation with people, I mean, all the time, anywhere. If that's not you, then that's okay. Remember self-awareness and knowing who you are, so then that way you understand who you are and how you can leverage that, how you can have conversations with 3 new people every day. The other thing is, as a part of that, and as we're retaining, right? Recruiting and retaining, you could schedule coffee meetings 3 times a week where you invite 2 or 3 people to join you. And now it's a smaller, intimate group. Okay. But what are your top 3 categories daily, with income producing activity being your number 1 focus as you are focused on driving your retail business? We've got to start with retail, and then we progressively move them into the other categories. It's, think of it like a maturing of that relationship that you have just created. Okay. Now remember, as we are having conversations retail, whether it's on social media or it's in person or it's via text. Now remember, the 2 most effective modes of communication is in person or on the phone. Written is least, but if we pay attention to people, they will tell us who they are. Now, people make decisions in accordance to their priorities. However, their pace determines the time frame in which they're going to make a decision. What did I just say? Fast-paced people make decisions quickly, like this, okay? How do you know that they're fast-paced? Because they're going to send you, they're going to respond on social. Tell me more. You're going to respond sending you a DM. You're going to send them the first message. Thanks for asking for information on the drops, and then blah, 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 blah. I buy them in bulk. Are you interested? They may ask for a little more information, which means they're asking buying questions. If they ask, how much do they cost? They're moving towards buying. If they say, can you give me more details? Can you give me case studies? When they start asking more questions, they are more this person. They're more passive, methodical, analytical, calm, and careful. These other people here, they're a sort of fast-paced and dynamic. They're like, I'll worry about being careful later. I need results now. I need to make a decision quickly. I don't feel good. I need to lose weight. Are you with me? These two people, oh, go back. These two people want to make sure they make the right decision. Okay. So we cannot rush them. It's going to take a little bit longer and a little more of interaction with them to close them, to move them forward. Okay. Now, if that makes sense, give me some thumbs up on that. You've heard me talk about this before. Now, remember, people make decisions in accordance to their priorities. These two people, the I is fast paced, okay? But they're going to crack a joke and be a little more social with you as they're asking questions. And the S style will apologize for requiring more information. But these two people are going to make a decision to buy from you, to follow you, to join your team because they like you, because you make them feel good. You're not rushing them. You're making sure that they feel good about the decision that they're making. Plus, they like you. If they don't like you, they're not buying from you. I can tell you that right now. They will not do business with, follow from a leadership perspective, hang out with, offer coffee, want to join your team, and the list could go on if they don't like you. And for most humans, it's, if we don't trust someone, if we don't like them, we're probably not really going to work with them. However, these two people will go, well, I don't have to like them. They just need to do their job. Okay. Now, these two people are looking for more information from you because they need more details. They're going to come across as more skeptical. So they're going to ask skeptical, challenging type questions and gather more information from you. Listen, number one thing to take from this, if they're asking buying questions, okay? Very importantly, remember we had the funnel just a few moments ago, and income producing activity is our number one focus for the day, right? As we're driving retail and as we're filling our funnel or pipeline of opportunities, okay? This is why it's so important for you to have income producing activity as a number one priority of actions, tasks, and activities for the day, okay? Because every day you are going to have, and you should have, a minimum of 5 to 10 people that you're just sending a quick text message to, that you're doing a quick follow-up. Hey, want to hop on a call? Hey, can I introduce you to Dr. Crystal? Hey, can I introduce you to Anthony? I'd love for you to meet Anthony. Now, here's a side note. I want y'all to write this down. It's a book, The Tipping Point. The tipping point is like a triangle, 3 points to it. 3 points that we have to have in order for us to close business, okay? Now, not every single time, because fast-paced people will typically make a decision for themselves, okay? But we can fast forward and fast track this, because if I invite Dr. Crystal to a meeting and then a prospective team member, a prospective new retail customer, because they're teetering, I can bring in an expert, or in the tipping point case or example, I'm bringing in a maven or an expert. I can be the connector and the salesperson going, are you ready to buy? Does that sound like something that would work for you? Could you see yourself doing that? Well, yeah. Okay. Then Dr. Crystal is going to answer the medical questions. She's going to answer some of the ingredient questions. Do you see where I'm going with this? And so you leverage the resources that you have around you to be doing more Zoom, 15-minute Zoom calls, to be doing phone calls. Remember, the two most effective modes of communication is in person, face-to-face. Zoom accomplishes this because we're connected, even though we're not physically in the same room. Second is on the phone, because we can hear voice fluctuations. We can hear the person's tone. I used to tell, we have 6 children, okay? So they're all grown and out of the house. I used to tell baby number 5, she was infamous about this, roll her eyes. all the time. Anything you said to her when she was a teenager, she'd roll her eyes. And so I'd be on the phone with her and I'd say, Ronnie, I can hear you rolling your eyes. Whatever. Okay, anyway, these two people getting back to retail and having a conversation with getting closer to the sale. The D and the C are going to come across as skeptical. They want more information from you. They need the data and the facts to make a decision. Whereas the other two people they want facts and information, but they want to feel good about it. It's all about emotion. Now, let's talk about habits and beliefs as we're talking about recruiting. So now let's talk about recruiting. They've bought, they're using the drops. Before they buy their next bottle or next box of drops, we should be talking to them about, hey, can I share with you how you could get yours for free moving forward? Whoop, do tell more, okay? The D's and the I's will be like, oh yeah, tell me more. The D's going to be a little skeptical and go, okay, yeah, I'm willing to hear it, but there's got to be a catch because they're so concerned about you taking advantage of them, okay? Now, the C's and the S's are going to go, well, let me just try them for more than like, let me just try them for one more month. And, I mean, yes, I do like them, but I'm not really a salesperson. I'm not an extrovert like you I don't know if that's for me. Okay, well, how about I follow back up with you in another week or two and then maybe buy you a cup of coffee. Maybe we have a call and I can share more and maybe even invite a friend that their personality is a lot like you and they could share more as to how they've been successful. Would you be open to that? Now, I'm going to pause here for just a second. I want you to write this down. The art of asking questions. When we ask a person a question, we create this. Do you notice there's nothing on the sheet? It's completely blank. That's what happens to a person's mind when we ask a question. They go blank because we're asking them to think about something, okay? Or to answer a question. When we're telling someone something, okay, they are listening to formulate a response. When we ask them a question, they're moving all obstacles out of the way so they can hear you and respond intelligently. Now, I hope that makes sense to you, the art of asking questions. Okay, so let's talk about habits and beliefs as we are focused on, let me look at the time because I don't want to take advantage of it. Ooh, I have plenty of time. Okay. Habits and beliefs as it pertains to recruiting people, okay? If they believe they're not a salesperson and this is all about selling, they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth. Have you ever heard that? Now, if they say, oh, I don't know, yeah, that's not for me. Again, well, I don't think I could fit in anything else into my life, blah, blah, blah. Listen, yes, they can. Now, number one for you is what are my top 3 categories daily? Focus on your income producing activity as you're recruiting. Think about the people that you are recruiting. If someone is not excited and biting, give them time. Go have a conversation with someone else that is at a higher level of ready to move. So when I am looking at either clients and I'm looking at my pipeline clients that are ready for coaching or business consulting, or I'm looking at team members and where they're at in the lifespan of moving them towards becoming a client, any one of these categories, okay? I'm looking at, are they hot? Meaning they're ready, they're right on the cusp to jump. Or 2, are they warm? They're still teetering, not sure, okay? Or are they cold where I need to massage that relationship a little bit more? So think about who you're following up with, okay? And very importantly, what are your income producing activities for that day? Next, what does your morning routine look like? Are you on that daily 10:15 a.m. call? What accountability do you have in place for you? Who are you talking to during the day? Are you playing with your upline, meaning sending a text, girl, I just had the best call. Anthony, man, you are not going to believe the call I just had. Whoop, bruh, it's awesome. Okay. Sharing, or wow, I just had a tough call and I'm really going to think about what went well, what could have been better. So then that way I can do a better job at the next challenging call, because the challenge is merely an opportunity for you to get better. Right? Okay. Now, when, where, and who should I be recruiting? When should I be recruiting? You see that? When should I be recruiting? All the time. Anthony, unmute. When should we be recruiting?
All the time.
All the time. Where should we be recruiting? You see the world map? Everywhere. We have access to people all across the world. Okay. So if you think I only have 250 friends on Facebook, that's not enough people. Listen, yes, it is the way the algorithms are. I'm telling you, this is the whole point of us having friends on Messenger, and then now having Telegram. If you've got 5 to 10 buddies that are commenting on your posts, that supports and boosts up your posts on in the algorithms on Facebook. So where should you be recruiting? Social media, everywhere, in the grocery store, in line to pick up your kids at school, on the baseball fields or sports things. You should be asking questions and having conversations with people everywhere. Who should you be recruiting? Who should you be recruiting? Everyone. Everyone and anyone can benefit from the drops. Everyone and anyone can benefit from limu juice, from noni juice. How many of y'all agree with me? Give me a show of hands. Give me a show of hands if you agree with me. Z, do you agree with me? Oh, girl, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let me see some more faces. Hold on. See what, when should we recruiting? All the time. Where should we be recruiting? Everywhere. Who should we be recruiting? Everyone. 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 Now, here's another little side note, an asterisk. When you are working retail and you're having a conversation and you immediately identify it's a D and an I, okay? Fast paced, talk fast, move fast. Remember, they make decisions quickly. That is the time that you can also throw in that question. Well, you're interested in the drops and you're making a purchase. Would you like to save money? And I can set you up on a subscription. And also, can I share with you how you can get your products potentially for free? That's a great time to ask that question. Then you get to share, let them buy, and then you can continue to build on that relationship. A C and an S, you can still ask that question in the beginning. They're probably going to go, yeah, let's hold off on that. You know, you could tell me about that later. I want to try the products first and see how I like them. I have to be comfortable with them and using them and, you know, feeling rewards or gaining rewards from them before I could actually tell anyone about them. Okay. If you pay attention to people, they will tell you who they are, what they need from you, and when they need you to take action or push them. Okay. Make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay. Daddy finger. Give me the daddy finger. Okay. Now, we are all better together. It's very important that you're leveraging your resources, that you're leveraging your upline, that you're leveraging Dr. Crystal, that you're leveraging Brent, that you're leveraging Anthony, okay? That you're leveraging the people around you and the information, that you're leveraging boards, okay? And by all means, please, is everybody listening? Before you reach out to your upline, before you reach out to someone else, please go look at boards first, because 99.9% of the time, and I was guilty of this in the beginning, until Dr. Crystal just beat it into me. Did you look in boards? It's in boards. Okay, so look in boards first. But very importantly also, make sure that you have identified and you have your accountability partners with you, and you've identified them, that you've been intentional and strategic. If you need help doing that, let me know, okay? Even though you're not in my upline or my downline, you're in my line, okay? We're in the lane together to be successful and experience explosive success. And if we support each other, we will experience it, and we'll also help others to do that, okay? And so you should be meeting with, having conversations with your accountability partners. I mean, almost daily, okay? Almost daily, okay? Almost daily. Did you catch that? Almost daily, all right? Okay. Now, next. Oh, Miss Sandy Roth has raised her hand. Unmute, Sandy. What have you got? Okay, I'll come back to you then. All right, now let's talk about retaining. Retaining people is all about relationship management, okay? Do you see these 6 examples? It's relationships. When 2 or more gather, okay? You've heard that before, haven't you? So what processes and procedures, what habits do you have around retaining and relationship management? This is how we retain people. How many of you have heard of the 5 love languages by Dr. Chapman? And there's also the 5 languages of appreciation, Dr. Chapman and Dr. Paul White, in the workplace, but really it's the same thing, okay? Here are the top 3 that I find predominantly is words of affirmation, acts of service, and quality time. Now, same thing, same approach. If we pay attention to people, they will tell us who they are and what they need from us, okay? And when they need it. If you are unsure and you want to know, then ask them, but ask them this way. If I were to show you love and appreciation, because you know I love you, if I were to show you love, which would you rather have? Do you want me to tell you how wonderful you are and why I think you're wonderful? Or would you like for me to just take you to a movie? Or would you like for me to buy you a gift? Or would you like for me to do something nice for you? Do you see? So give them a choice, because here's what has happened. As human beings, we are lazy, L-A-Z-Y. And in Spanish, flojo, okay? My grandmother used to say that, I que floja. You are so lazy. Anyway, it's because I didn't like cleaning my room, but I'm clean now because I'm the one that's got to do it, you know? And if I don't do it, nobody else will. Okay, anyway, off on a tangent. People are lazy today. A recent study, and this has been a couple of years now, and it might even be 3 because time flies faster as we get older. But this study showed that the average attention span of a human being today is equal to a goldfish, which is like 8.2 seconds. Okay. And so when we ask someone, so, hey, if I were to show you love and appreciation, how would you like for me to do that? In their mind, they're already going, are you kidding me, sir? Is they're going to make me think about this? I don't know. So give them 2 choices, okay? Offer them 2 choices. The other thing is, the other caveat of this is it's human nature. Words of affirmation is my primary love language. It's natural for me to just naturally, even though I'm certified, even though I've studied this, even though I teach this, it's natural because I'm human and I got flesh to immediately start using words of affirmation with someone else. And when words of affirmation is not someone's, they will do this. They'll go, okay, I mean, thanks. I was just doing my job. Or thanks, that's just me. They're immediately telling me, yeah, it's not for me. And so I'll notice that and then start paying attention to, or ask them, what is their language of appreciation? Okay, hands up if that made sense to you. And I'm telling you, this stuff works in your marriage too, and relationship with your kids, okay? Okay. Thank you, Crystal, for raising your hand, girl. Love you. Okay. Now, learning styles. As we are recruiting and retaining people, Even on the retail side, this is important. As we're building a relationship on the retail side, then we've recruited them and we're adding them to their team, both levels, we're educating them. Now, as we are educating them, once we are retaining them and training them on boards, partner code, the products, the shipping, I mean, all of this, the commission structure. And how many of y'all still sometimes get your minds blown on the commission structure? Yeah, okay. Anyway, learning styles. Visual, show me is 65% minimum. So it could be like 62 to 70%. You know, I've seen different opinions. You know, everybody's got an opinion like a belly button, you know, we've all got one. And so take it with a grain of salt. Just know that the majority of people are visual learners. Then next is auditory. They'll say, tell me that again, say that again. So again, if we pay attention to people, they'll tell us who they are and what they need from us, okay? Or kinesthetic, which is OJT, on the job. And so if we show them, tell them, and do it with them, you have just leaped forward faster. You're helping them to grasp the information better, more effectively, more efficiently, okay? Because how many of you have time to do something over again? Ugh. Fast-paced people, for those of you that are fast-paced joining this morning, you're probably going, ugh, ugh, I can't stand it. When I've gone over something, it's so frustrating when I've done this once, twice, and then someone comes back to me yet again. If we practice this, I promise you, you will minimize that frustration for yourself. And then, quite frankly, minimize the frustration for the other person, because I got to tell you, they don't like having to come back to you and ask again. Now, the C's and the S's, this will work for you, and you will like this because you will have an opportunity to go a little bit more into details with people. You'll be able to truly help them to absorb the information more effectively and efficiently. And a C and an S likes effective and efficient. They like the details, okay? They're methodical, analytical, and careful and cautious, okay? All right, if that made sense, give me some thumbs up, because I'm working towards closing this for you, because I love you. Now, again, personalities, if we pay attention to people, they will tell us who they are and what they need and how we can lead them and motivate them, and also build a stronger connection and relationship with them. Now, let's talk about leadership and coaching for success. This is situational leadership model. How many of you have seen this before? A show of hands. Never seen this before? Some of you have. Okay, now I'm going to touch on this even further in additional workshops. But what this is this. What number one is directing. Do you see the red? So the red is when we add a brand new brand partner. Okay. They are of low knowledge. They're new. Okay. It's like adding a brand new employee to the team. Okay. Or a brand new family member to the family. We got to break them in. We got to show them, oh, you'll get used to this, girl. That's just the family. Oh, you'll get used to it. We're all really loud. Or just as Dr. Crystal was doing with me when I was a brand new brand partner. Did you check boards? It's in boards. Did you look at boards? Did you read boards? Did you? Okay. And so directing and directive, when you have a brand new brand partner, you're going to have to spend extra time with them. The first 30 to 60 days are going to be the most intense for you. And so you might want to just be proactive. Habit number 1 of the 7 habits of highly effective people. You might just want to schedule a weekly call with your brand new brand partners, because then this way you're showing them, telling them, and doing it with them on a regular basis. As human beings, repetition, a minimum of 3 to 5 times of doing something before we really catch on, before we create a habit. Now, once they move out of director mode, Then you're typically going to be in coaching and supporting. Once they're with you and on your team for a little while, a week or two might go by that you haven't spoken with them, but more than likely not, they're at least joining your weekly team calls, or a call like this on a Saturday morning, okay? Or a Wednesday, a Wisdom Wednesday call, whatever that might look like. But then you're coaching and supporting because they understand the products, they've mastered boards, blah, 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 okay? Does this make sense to you? I know this is a little, but it might be a little confusing, but just get where I'm coming at just from the directive mode, okay? Meaning you need to spend more time, intentional scheduled time, to coach and support and direct your new brand partners. If that made sense, give me some thumbs up. Oh, I got a high five. I like it. Okay, now let's talk about your success homework, because I always got to give homework. Try and fail, but don't fail to try. There's a lot that I threw at you today. And so if anything, self-awareness, know who you are, your morning routine, and really harness your top 3 categories and stay focused on that as you're running your retail, right? Attracting new, recruiting, and retaining people, okay? Now, choose which one you're going to focus on most during the day, okay? Remember, income producing activity and your team members and your accountability partners. And then third, domestic bliss, okay? I just had to use 3 pinks because I thought it was pretty colors, and you know, it was 3 colors. And so, yeah, I was trying to be creative here and a little sassy this morning on a Saturday. Okay. And very importantly, as you are having conversations and interacting with others, remember, if there was one slide from this presentation that I would want you to print, it would be this one. Now, I want to show you that I practice what I preach. I have this right here at my desk. Before I get on the phone with anyone, I'm asking myself, as I prepare for the call or I prepare for the meeting, who am I meeting with and what is the purpose of the meeting? Not only am I writing their name down, but I'm identifying who am I meeting with. Are they fast-paced? Are they passive? And what are their priorities? So then that way I get what I need out of the meeting, okay? And I make sure they get what they need. Make sense? Make sense? Okay, now celebrate your wins. It's very important that you celebrate your wins. Now let's close up. Unmute for me. Did I remind you of things you already know? Did I give you something new, or did I do both? Tell me what I did. Just shout it out. It's okay, you can unmute.
Both.
Okay, we got 2 boths. Or you can put it in the chat.
Both.
Both.
Both. Yes.
Both.
I'm on mute. Both.
Both for sure.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Both.
My heart is full. That's fantastic. Fantastic.
Cynthia, I believe you're muted, Cynthia.
Okay, so this is where I left off. These were our 3 objectives. Did we cover them? Yes. Now, I'm going to invite you to follow me on social media and be my friend, because I like friends on social. And then I would also love the opportunity to be able to comment on your posts and to stay connected with you on social as well. And then next, I invite you to pick up a copy of the Magical Power of 3. Everything that I've shared with you, every time I share time with you, it's coming from tips, tricks, and hacks, approaches, philosophies, however you want to word it, coming directly from the Magical Power of 3. These are proven, okay? I use them with clients, and I've used them with clients and for myself for over 3 decades, okay? And with that, if you do decide to pick up a copy, then you get a 30-minute success coaching session with me. And for those of you on the call that have had a success coaching session with me, I'm going to use Jennifer Duke as an example. She has grown her team, not by 1, 2, or 3, but 3 times, and is experiencing incredible explosive success with her team just by having time with me, and then also reading the book, and then very importantly, taking action and to move forward and experience explosive success. And with that, time and attention are priceless. So thank you for spending time with me. And how did I do? 11:01. Boy, that's pretty good. Did we have some questions? Anthony, did anybody pose questions? Is there anything else you want me to touch on?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen any questions, but they are able to unmute, I believe, if they do have questions.
How we print that page out? What you talking about?
Oh, the graph here. I'm going to
Yeah.
put it in the chat for you, okay?
All right, appreciate it.
Absolutely. How do I put it in the chat? Come here. I'll send it to Anthony. I can't figure out, Anthony, how to put it in. I've never clipped, or if I have, I don't remember. Oh, there it is. Whoa, I found it. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Excellent presentation. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Oh, you are very welcome. Okay, y'all, there's the graph in chat. So if anything, print that. And then just ask yourself, who am I? Am I fast paced? Am I passive? Again, knowing you first, okay? Does that work, Joseph? Do you see it? Okay. Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Anthony, and allowing me to share today. Y'all go out there and make it a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful Saturday.
Have a good day.